Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is AI Brief, episode 165. So today we're really digging into the latest currents, the movements in artificial intelligence. We've gathered a whole bunch of updates, some insights, even some surprising developments that are shaping AI right now.
Yeah, think of this as your quick guide, your shortcut to understanding the key things you really need to know about.
Our goal here is to cut through the noise, bring you the core of what's actually happening. We're talking big picture stuff like global competition, but also specific industry tools, AI popping up in creative fields.
Like film festivals, which
Yeah.
is interesting. And also crucial things like data security,
Right.
plus a look at robotics and, those handy AI tools you might actually use day to day.
Exactly. So we'll unpack what a major tech CEO thinks about the AI race, look at new tools for manufacturers, see AI at the movies, get updates on data security for AI platforms, and then, wrap up with robotics news and some trending tech. Let's jump right in.
Okay, so first up, let's look at AI through that geopolitical lens. The CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, he recently gave a pretty strong take on the whole U.S.-China dynamic.
Strong is one word for it. He didn't really hold back, did he? He basically framed it as this high-stakes arms race.
That's the term he used. His view seems rooted in this belief that it's not a race where everyone kind of wins. He feels like one side will win, and he's pretty convinced the U.S. has to be that winner. There was a real urgency there.
It really makes you think about, the bigger picture of global power. He points to the U.S. tech sector, saying that's the key advantage, the innovation, the speed, the technical know-how.
Right. And he even sort of called on Western allies to get more aggressive, too, to keep up.
And what about regulation? I heard he had thoughts on pausing AI rules at the state level.
Yeah, he argued against it. He said a slow, cautious approach like a moratorium is just far too blunt. His point was that AI is moving so incredibly fast right now. Speed is absolutely critical in his view.
He also doubled down on Palantir supporting national defense with AI, right? And pushed back on those surveillance claims again.
He did. So why does this perspective matter? Well, it really elevates the AI conversation beyond just tech progress. It frames it as, vital for national security, for economic survival almost.
And it positions Palantir, obviously, as a key player in that whole strategy.
Exactly. While also warning policymakers, don't slow us down. It frames the company as more than just software, like a strategic asset.
Okay, let's pivot now. From global strategy to something much more hands-on, manufacturing. Ducker Carlisle's Sparkwise division just rolled out some new AI tools for that sector.
Yes, and these look super relevant, especially with all the trade volatility manufacturers face. The first one is called the AI Tariff Impact Simulator.
An AI Tariff Impact Simulator. Okay, that sounds intense. How does it actually work?
Well, it gets really granular. It does cost modeling right down to the individual product level, the SKU level, under different potential tariff situations. So if you're importing parts or exporting goods, you can model how different tariffs would hit the cost of each specific thing.
Wow, so no more guesswork. You see the exact impact product by product. That sounds incredibly useful for planning. What's the second tool?
That one's the Competitor Part Price Predictor. And like the name suggests, it uses AI to forecast what prices your competitors are likely to charge for their specific parts. Again, right down to the SKU level.
Okay, so you're not just reacting anymore. You might actually anticipate competitor moves.
That's the idea. The whole point of these tools is to help manufacturers navigate these really tricky global trade waters. If you have better data on your own costs under tariffs and a better guess at competitor pricing, you can set your own prices more strategically, protect those margins.
Right, so it turns something complex and reactive, like dealing with tariffs and competitor prices, into a source of, strategic advantage.
Precisely. In a world where supply chains are messy and trade rules change, having that kind of dynamic, data-driven insight lets companies make smarter decisions faster. It helps them move from just coping to maybe even getting ahead. It's about using data for real leverage.
Okay, shifting gears again. From manufacturing to the movies, AI is definitely making a splash in creative fields, and the Runway AI Film Festival really highlighted that.
Oh yeah, the buzz around that was huge. The number of submissions just exploded this year.
I saw that. It went from, 300 last year to...
Around 6,000 this year.
Yeah.
That jump alone tells you something big is happening. Filmmakers, artists, they're clearly diving in and experimenting with these AI tools for video.
6,000, that's incredible growth. What kind of films were getting noticed?
Well, the top prize went to a film called Total Pixel Space, described as a mind-bending exploration. There were others too, like Jailbird and One, But the main thing was the sheer variety of styles and subjects.
And it wasn't just all purely AI-generated stuff, was it? I heard there was a mix.
Exactly. That was a key point from the judges. They saw films made entirely with AI visuals, but also lots of work that cleverly blended live-action footage with AI elements. It shows how flexible these tools are, creating new worlds or just enhancing existing ones.
So it's obviously changing the look of things, the final product. But what about the process of making films? How is AI affecting that?
That might be the even bigger deal for the industry, actually. Filmmakers are finding that generative AI can seriously speed up tasks that used to take ages. Think of complex visual effects, parts of editing, post-production work. Stuff that took hours might now take minutes.
Hours to minutes, that's a genuine workflow revolution.
It really is. So the Runway Festival wasn't just about cool AI visuals and new storytelling ideas. It also showcased how AI could fundamentally change how films get made, maybe making indie filmmaking easier. Speeding up production for everyone is changing the what and the how. Okay, let's transition to something absolutely vital whenever AI is involved, especially for businesses: data security and privacy. Snowflake's CEO, Sridhar Ramaswamy, tackled this directly at their recent summit.
Which is so important, right? Given how much sensitive data companies are putting onto these cloud platforms for AI, what was the main promise he made?
It was very clear, aimed right at building trust. Your data stays yours. He explicitly stated that customer data on Snowflake is never used to train Snowflake's own big AI models. It's only used to run that specific customer's AI applications on their own data.
That's a critical distinction. Using the data for the customer, not using it to train the platform itself. What specific security steps are they taking beyond that promise?
Well, they're making two-factor authentication mandatory for everyone. And they're pushing hard for more modern, secure methods like Face ID or passkeys, planning to phase out older, less secure 2FA options. Plus, they're actively scanning the dark web.
Scanning the dark web. For what?
For credentials linked to Snowflake accounts that might have been leaked in other breaches. If they find a match, they lock the account first, then tell the user. It's a really proactive way to try and stop breaches before they happen.
That sounds like they're really trying to get ahead of potential threats.
It seems so. They also just got ISO 42001 certified. That's a new international standard specifically for managing AI systems and governance. Getting that shows a formal, structured approach. And the platform itself is built, so existing security controls customers already use, like data masking or access rules, automatically apply to AI workloads running on Snowflake, too.
What about things like prompt injection? People trying to trick the AI.
They have defenses for that, like something called Cortex guardrails, designed to spot and block those kinds of malicious inputs.
So why does all this matter so much right now? This level of commitment, these specific features?
Well, think about it. As companies use AI more and more, they're trusting these platforms with incredibly valuable, sensitive data. So trust is everything.
Yeah.
By making these clear promises, adding strong security layers, getting certified, proactively hunting threats, and integrating security deeply, Snowflake is trying to set a really high standard.
It's about balancing the cool new AI stuff with the absolute need for tight corporate controls and privacy.
Exactly. It's likely the kind of approach enterprise AI platforms will need to adopt to earn and keep the trust of big organizations.
Okay, let's just slow down a touch now and look at a few other interesting things happening across the wider world of AI and robotics. Kind of a quick roundup.
Sounds good. One area getting huge investment is definitely e-commerce logistics, and Amazon seems to be making some big moves with robots.
Oh, yeah. What are they up to specifically?
Well, reports suggest they're building a humanoid park, basically a training facility in San Francisco. The idea is to train bipedal, human-like robots to do things like, well, hop out of delivery vans to bring packages those last few feet to your door.
Wow, so that sci-fi image of robots delivering packages, they're actually building places to train them for it.
Seems like it. And it's not just the hardware. They're also launching a dedicated agentic AI team. Their job is to build the smart software so these robots can actually understand and act on spoken commands from people. You know, like grab that box and put it over there.
That mix of physical ability and language understanding is key. Why the big push from Amazon on this?
It boils down to optimizing their massive supply chain. If robots can handle more varied tasks in warehouses, and especially that tricky last-mile delivery, it could mean huge gains in efficiency, speed, and maybe cost savings. It's a major bet on robotics changing logistics. Then there's the world of self-driving cars. They're clearly moving past just being experiments and becoming real commercial contenders now.
Yeah, some of the recent numbers are pretty striking, aren't they?
They really are. An analysis highlighted by Mary Meeker showed Waymo's progress in San Francisco is just incredible. In only 20 months, they grabbed something like 27% of the ride-hailing market there, competing directly with traditional services.
27% in less than 2 years. That is seriously fast growth.
It is. The data even suggested Waymo could potentially overtake Uber's market share there in under a year if that pace continues. And it's not just Waymo. Tesla also reported this massive, 100-fold increase in miles driven using their full self-driving software over the past 3 years.
So what does this rapid adoption and all these autonomous miles really tell us?
It strongly suggests the tech is maturing, and maybe the regulations are catching up enough for these vehicles to be serious business. They're not just demos anymore. They're actively competing and potentially starting to dominate transportation in certain cities.
Okay, one more on the robotics front, but maybe smaller scale. News from Hugging Face about making robotics more accessible.
Yeah, they released a model called Small VLA. Small, as in small. It's designed to be a lightweight robotics model, only about 450 million parameters, which is pretty compact for controlling robots.
And the claim is it can run on just a regular laptop, like a MacBook.
That's what they're saying. The big advantage of being lightweight is that the robot can process info and react faster to its surroundings compared to needing huge, powerful computers.
That really sounds like it could lower the barrier for people wanting to experiment with more advanced robotics.
For sure. It could really help bring more sophisticated home robotics projects, maybe DIY stuff, within reach for more developers and hobbyists. There was already an example of someone controlling robotic arms from a laptop using this small VLA model. It hints at advanced robotics maybe moving beyond just big labs and factories.
All right, moving to our last section today. Let's quickly spotlight some trending AI tools that caught our attention, more on the software and productivity side.
Okay, first is Roulette. This is pitched as an AI-native alternative to traditional ERP systems, specifically designed for accountants, aiming to speed up financial closes using AI.
Then there's Creatify. This one's for marketing folks. It claims to turn simple product links into AI-optimized video ads, nice and quickly.
Samaya AI looks interesting. It's a knowledge discovery platform using AI to help experts sift through tons of information and find really deep insights in their specific fields.
And Recraft. That's a generative AI design tool aimed at helping creative teams make visuals that are consistent and high quality. Apparently, lots of creatives are already using it.
Coworker.ai tackles complex tasks within a company by pulling context from lots of different apps, like over 40, without needing special coding.
GLS Imaging is doing something pretty wild with phone cameras trying to use neural networks instead of traditional lenses to get SLR quality photos on super thin phones.
And lastly, Whisperflow. This tool converts your spoken words directly into polished text. The idea is faster writing across different apps with real-time edits and even matching the tone you want.
Wow, okay, we really covered some ground today. From, geopolitical AI races and specific industry tools to AI and film, crucial data security, delivery robots, self-driving cars taking off, accessible robotics, and a whole bunch of productivity apps. It's amazing how broad AI's reach is becoming.
It really is. And maybe as you think about all this, consider how these things that seem so different, a CEO's warning, a manufacturer's pricing tool, an AI film, a security update, a delivery robot, that small robotics model, they're all kind of connected, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all threads in this incredibly fast-moving fabric of artificial intelligence. It really points to a future where AI isn't just, bolted on here and there. It's becoming fundamental.
Woven into how industries run, how creativity happens, how companies manage risk, how things get delivered, even how we use tech at home. It feels like it's becoming truly foundational.
Definitely something to keep thinking about as AI keeps evolving at this pace.
Well, we hope this deep dive gave you a valuable shortcut to understanding some key developments in AI right now.
If you found it useful, please do follow AI Brief wherever you get your deep dives so you don't miss what we explore next.
And maybe share this one with others you think might find it insightful.
Until next time.